I got two packages today. This one and another one. I've already done the unboxing video for it, and it will be released before this video, so you may have already seen it, so you may have already heard this part. But if you, for some reason, avoided that video in favor of this video, well, this package, pretty large, relatively heavy, got thrown over my gate today. I have a 6-foot gate. Actually, it's a little bit bigger than that, so a little bit less than 2 meters. The postal worker decided to toss the package over the gate instead of putting it into my mailbox. That was this morning, and I had to go to work. And so now is when I can unbox it and see if there were any negative consequences to that challenge as this package made its way to my table, which sadly is not a round table. This is an unboxing for Pendragon 6th edition, and it will count as the first video in the series, and probably by far the shortest video of all of them that I intend to do about Pendragon and its relationship with this new 6th edition. One of the things that I'm noticing a lot these days is a great deal of back and forth negativity about stuff. Things changing, things not changing. Has to be, you'd think I would have developed an easier way to take care of that after all of these unboxing videos. I haven't. Sometimes when things stay the same, it's not for the better. Sometimes, obviously, when things change, it's not for the better. But I'm getting really quite tired of the knee-jerk reaction or the knee-jerk assumption that all change is for the worse, especially with beloved products, beloved franchises. And I'm equally tired of change for change's sake. So, I wasn't sure if I was going to order the 6th edition of Pendragon. I wasn't sure if, I have all the previous editions. Do I really need another edition of Pendragon? I think that's a useful question for an aging gamer with, a fairly substantial library of games. I think we do need to reach a point where we say, do I think I will use it, and compare that to how much we want it. Need doesn't really come into it, does it? Anyway, I wasn't sure. Well, happy about this. This pretty much mitigates most of my concern about the trip over the gate. Cool. Inside, haha, strong tape and protective cardboard. I don't see anything like bubble wrap, but I can see the very thick core rules in there, and they are shrink wrapped. So, what do we think? Did the corners take a bumping? Has there been a little shine taken off the armor from flying over my gate? Let's find out. So, inside the box at the bottom, there's more copies of packing. All right. My English setter, Kobe, I don't know if he's going to appear on camera or not, but he's getting more and more excited by this whole unboxing thing. He's not usually present when I do unboxings. He's getting a kick out of it. I don't know why. Of course, what he really wants to do is play fetch, and he's looking at some very fetchable items off camera. All right, so here we have the new Pendragon. Where are the old Pendragons? Some of them are up there. Right. 5.1 and 5.2 are up there, and the box sets for the old ones are down there. Ha ha ha. Take a look. Massive. But that's why books have corners. Now, if I were a resident of the United States or somewhere where they have a distribution center, and if I were collecting these to keep them in pristine condition on my shelf rather than keeping them in pristine condition but also using them, then I'd be filled with desire. Oh, it's the front one too. Filled with desire to send it back and say, hey, please send me a new one because wear and tear during transit. But I can't bring myself to do that. Had it been destroyed in transit, that's a different situation. But anyway, that's unfortunate because I can pretty much guarantee that considering the sharpness of the bottom corners, I can pretty much guarantee that this is something that happened during its flight over my gate. Life is hard. All right, so we'll take the shrimp wrap off that in a moment. I also, against my normal habits, ordered the starter set. Now, the starter set is significantly, noticeably denser, heavier than the core rulebook. Right, so that's kind of interesting considering its size. Now, there's a lot of materials in here like dice and cardstock character sheets and the like. I've had a chance to look at the PDF because when I ordered directly from Chaosium, I was able to immediately download the PDF, as you might expect. So I got the starter set. I don't usually get starter sets because usually all the rules that you want or might need are in the core rules. And traditionally, starter sets have been built with differences, just small differences here and there to make it easier for beginners to play. But then when you go to the full rules, then you have to unlearn a habit and, re-establish a habit. And so I tend to shy away from starter sets. However, I'm at a point where it will be necessary to rebuild in-person gaming, which makes starter sets more valuable and makes it easier to ignore some of their quirks. The corner of this box too. Is it the same? Yes. So I won't reiterate what's in the box. I'll be showing you what's in the box. But there are things in here in order to run the starter adventures that aren't present in here, and so that seems useful. Now in the future there's going to be another core rulebook, right? This one is sufficient for play, but there are definitely things that all the decades of Pendragon's existence have made it useful to have. There are many more Pendragon books in our future. So I'm going into this partly as resistance against all the negativity I see about it online. I'm going into this with cheerful heart of exploration because I love new editions of games. I keep buying all the editions of my favorite games, and Pendragon is definitely one of my favorite games. So I'll be exploring, and I'll also be offering counterpoint to those people who have raised the banner of Pendragon without reading it or playing it, because that bothers me too. So let's take a look inside. Okay, so the shrink wrap is off and photographs have been taken of the heartbreaking damage to the corner. The box itself holds together really tightly, has a nice narrow profile. Like I said, it's really heavy. So, lid comes right off. Yay. And right at the top, we have a sleeve of the dice. And I'm one of those gamers who's going to end up keeping them in there like that forever. But the dice are unmarked with any special symbols on any of the numbers, which I think is quite valuable for the starter set, so that we don't have to stop and ask, hey, what is this symbol replacing? So I think this was a good idea and good color choice. If you are lucky enough to have been a Pendragon fan in the past, there were opportunities to get themed dice, but maybe those days are also in our future. Chaosium. So what's in the box? All right. Double-sided. Advertisement on the back. There are numerous small booklets. The one on top, Book 1, The Adventure of the Sword in the Stone. Attribution is given to Greg Stafford. There is on the back cover part of a map. And this is a soft cover supplement listed at 45 pages of content, which includes the inside back cover. There are full page art pieces, but an awful lot of this is text, right? Numbered scenes, that sort of stuff. Now there are call-out boxes in bright colors to give the Game Master guidance. All right. Book 2, The Fabled Realm. Feels heavier. Different part of the map. Is it? Is it longer? It is. 65 pages, including the inside back cover. The variety of art. There is black and white art, there's full color art, there's nearly photographic art. You know, lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. Whether it's represented in a more illustrated format, a more artistic format, or a more photoreal format, whatever it is that gets you excited, you're going to find some examples. Book 3, The Sword Campaign. Is this somewhere in between? Different part of the map. 49 pages, including the inside back cover. Right. And again, following the same format. Feels like, who knows really, but feels like more art in this one. All right. The Sword Campaign, an introductory campaign. All right, so we move from the starter adventure, which can be run solo. Then Book 2, The Fabled Realm, gives us, well, rules. Let's put it that way. Then Book 3, the start of an exciting campaign. And I think from a starter set point of view, we have to recognize that it's not just a box to hold contents. It's a very specific frame of material for starting to play Pendragon. So if you're an established Pendragon player, then we cannot look to the starter set to be allowing us to play everything that has been possible to do in the past with all the supplements and all our experience and all of our previous editions. It's a starter set launching us into the game as a newcomer. Is it necessary to have the starter set in conjunction with the core rules? Part of the series is going to be my assessment of whether or not it's true. But I think we need to start from the point of view that if we're experienced players, this part isn't as much for us as it is for total newcomers. This will gently ease us into the changes. All right, what else is in here? Appendix A, tournaments, double-sided. Appendix B, battle. This is a small booklet. Not paginated, just a small booklet. The battle system reference on the back. Appendix C, overland movement, double-sided. Appendix D, visiting a foreign court. And then perforated cards, Knights of Gore, Knights of Lothian. Okay. Nice, convenient size, double-sided, statistics provided. Cool. Character art. Sir Clarion. Gotta say, I kind of like that. History and events up front with nightly events and your passive glory right there in front of you, your shield, and details about this NPC. And then you can open it up to have your traits there on your right, your traits, your passions, and details about your squire. Open it up on your left, and you have characteristics, hit points, and wounds. And in the middle is the character sheet. I like it. That makes a good impact. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the 7th is bent. That kind of stuff can drive you mad. How bent? This bent. Is this because of going over the gate? No. It's a packing thing. All right. So that's what's in the starter set. The core rulebook, we're not going to spend as much time as we did on the starter set. Okay. It's large. How large is it, you say? Well, we have character sheets and the index at the back. So the last, 251 is where stuff you don't know ends. Right? It has very thick matte finish paper. I really, really like the paper. I wish there's some way to describe it more. It's textured, not glossy, doesn't leave fingerprints behind. I like it. There is that definite modern book smell. All right. The colored book smell. We have, as an organization, inside the end papers. That's nice, right? I'm not going to get into the art. Nowhere in the series really am I going to talk about the art except for vague discussion of what type of art, maybe, but probably not. So the organization of the material. One, it has a very tiny font. Right, the contents and the list of tables, very small font. The font for the actual material in the text is standard. We have a good mix of 2-column and single column material going through. And we have full page art, we have quarter page art, half page, either vertical or horizontal, you know, a reasonable amount of art. We have lots of those reddish call-out boxes and a good deal of text. So for your 251 pages, you know, had they used less expensive paper, this book would have been much thinner and not been nearly as cool. There is a brilliant blue bookmark, which I appreciate. And I'm trying not to pay attention to the ringed dent, which I'll show you in a minute. That's on all the corners of all the pages. Definitely from direct impact. So definitely from its trip over my gate. Okay. So, how is the book organized? We start with Welcome to Camelot, and then the game system, followed by character creation. I think that's pretty useful. Right? This is one of those books that you will read from the beginning and then move through it until you reach the end. After character creation, we have an explanation of traits and passions, then skills, then aspirations, then combat, then weapons, then armor, then horses, then injury and health, then wealth, treasures, and trade, then solo scenarios, then a section on Pendragon's winter phase, then notes on this new edition, and the coat of arms generator, which can produce a lot of coats of arms, and then a list of pre-generated characters, which we had a look at earlier, the format for, and then the character sheet and the index. All the tables are neatly called out for you to be able to quickly reference by going to the table of contents at the start of the book. Hallelujah! Not that it's that heavy a chart game, but still, hallelujah. All right. I worry a little bit about my book because of what it went through this morning. But I'm very impressed with its production, particularly the choice of paper for the pages. It's not the same as a medieval manuscript paper, but it puts you in mind of that, and that's something I appreciate. It's also much easier to read without the gloss. I have a lot of overhead fluorescent lighting, and the glossy pages of so many of these books require constant shifting. It's frankly annoying. It's one of the reasons why I've migrated a lot of my reading to tablets, but I'm really looking forward to being able to read directly from this rulebook. So the series ahead will be going through this core rulebook and referencing the starter set as necessary or as interesting, and making a direct comparison to Pendragon First Edition and some in-between editions, again, as interesting or necessary. So this is a longer unboxing than intended or as usual, but like I said at the beginning, this is the start of a new series. Now, if you'd like to see a series on Pendragon 6th edition that is now complete, I can recommend you check out the blog of the Philippine Gamer. You find it at philgamer.wordpress.com. It's a WordPress blog. A long history of doing Let's Study series about so many different games. It's such a tremendous resource. In addition to reviewing games, Jay also makes them. So it's a nice place to go and check out. And he's done a 9-part series on Pendragon 6th edition. So while you're waiting for me to slowly produce my series, go read his. Anyway, until the next video, take care.